Welcome to the Title III timeline and reporting requirements. We are going to talk about wrapping up for the fiscal year 2024 and then also preparing to move into the fiscal year of 2025. We welcome you. Thank you for joining us in the Office of English Language Proficiency and the Oklahoma Department of Education. Again, if you have any questions, any concerns that we're able to help, please reach out to our office, the Office of English Language Proficiency. You may send us an email at oelp@sde.ok.gov. We're here to support our districts and charter schools. So the topics that we are going to talk about today are basic requirements, reporting requirements, preparing for the fiscal year 25, which consists of those consortium packets, the identification, applications, and then of course the Language Instruction Education Program, the LIEP. As we talk about Title III EL basic requirements, we are going to discuss timely identification and assessment of English language learners. We're going to talk about a research-based language program, your LIEP. Staff who are sufficiently trained to meet student needs. Equal opportunity for students to meaningfully participate in all school activities without unnecessary segregation. And to address the language needs of ELs also classified under 504 or IDEA, special education. Additional requirements consist of addressing the needs of English learners who opt out of supplemental services, monitor the progress of English learners both within the English language program and after exiting services, evaluating the effectiveness of the language program, and then also meaningful communication with parents of English learners. Reporting requirements for progress monitoring. This is the form that we have available that is on our website. So this is going to monitor the academic progress of former English learners that have exited the program, those that have reached proficiency, and they will be monitored for 4 years after a score of proficient. And again, this is just a sample documentation that you may be able to use. If your district has other types of documentation as a monitoring form that they would like to use, that is fine, but we do encourage you to look over this form and look at those requirements or items that we have on this form to make sure that your form covers those areas as well. This is not strictly Title III, but it covers program evaluation. So the American Rescue Plan requires that LEAs evaluate the effectiveness of EL-specific interventions funded through ESSER 3, and that continues through September of this school year. OSDE strongly recommends regular program evaluation, and to that end has developed a broad template for evaluating programs targeting English learners. Our office held a lunch and learn back in April that talked about evaluating your EL program. That slide deck and lunch and learn webinar is on our front page of our department website down below. If you would like to take a look at that, if you were unable to attend the lunch and learn, it's got some resources and some very good information in regards to program evaluation. This is the broad template that was mentioned in the previous slide in regards to a program evaluation. Again, we wanted to provide districts and charter schools a template that would be possibly a starting point for you to examine in regards to program evaluation. The link is also available here. This is a continuation of the evaluation template. Reporting requirements, the language instruction performance report. All LEAs in the state are required to complete the annual language instruction performance report on single sign-on. The fiscal year 24 report is due June 30th, 2024. The report shows a grade level breakdown of numbers of English learners in differing types of LIEP. The pre-populated grade level totals that you will see in the report will be drawn from the October 1st, 2023 data in the WAVE. The language instruction performance report allows OSDE to verify that English learners are being served by the LEAs where they are enrolled. The U.S. Department of Education then collects the information on a national level. A separate webinar will provide a step-by-step walkthrough through the language instruction performance report. This report has been updated and is currently, it will be currently released within the next week and a half, but we will provide that webinar and step-by-step walkthrough of what that will look like. The information that you will be looking at on the report has stayed the same, but the design of the report looks different. So now preparing for fiscal year 25. The first thing is consortium packets. They are due June 30th of each year. In order to receive a Title III allocation, LEAs must serve enough English learners to generate an allocation of $10,000. The per pupil amount varies every year, but is usually between 120 and 130 students. LEAs that do not reach that 10,000 threshold can join to form a consortium, which is combining counts in order to reach the $10,000 allocation threshold. LEAs wishing to form such a consortium should designate a lead LEA and submit the Title III consortium packet by June 30th. The 24-25 consortium packet is available on the OELP website. So, English learner and immigrant student identification. English learners are to be identified within 30 calendar days of enrollment at the beginning of the school year, or within 10 weeks of enrollment during the school year. I wanted to emphasize and underline the word calendar because the 30 days is not school days, but it is 30 calendar days. The identification process begins with the Home Language Survey, your HLS, and the current one is available on the OELP website. The answers provided on the Home Language Survey do not determine EL status, but instead, they do indicate which students are to be screened with the WIDA screening assessment. Only the WIDA screening assessment can be used to determine EL status. Immigrant status. For the purposes of the Title III immigrant program, immigrant students are defined as those who meet the following three criteria. The first one, the student is between the ages of 3 and 21. The second, the student was born in any of the 50 United States. The student was not born in any of the 50 United States. the District of Columbia, or the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. Again, not born. The student has not been enrolled in a U.S. school for more than 3 years. The English Language Academic Plan, or ELAP. Once students have been identified and tested, districts must then create an ELAP for each EL. The form is available on the OELP website. The ELAP is similar to an IEP and should be developed by certified staff. The ELAP outlines basic student demographic information, testing data, educational goals, and accommodations for testing and learning. ELAPs can follow a student in a specific year, but are to be updated every year based on new testing data. ELAP completion is mandatory and sample documentation is required for monitoring. Districts are allowed to use electronic resources to create ELAPs, as long as all required information is recorded. It is mandatory that parents be notified of the completion of an ELAP, again, mandatory. Districts are expected to make a reasonable effort to ensure that parents understand their children's educational status. Parents have the right to opt out of supplemental services, although this does not change the student's EL status, nor does it exempt the district from facilitating and encouraging student learning. The Language Instruction in Educational Program, LIEP. All LEAs serving English learners must also develop a language instruction educational program. This is going to detail how the LEA intends to meet the federal requirements for addressing the needs of English language learners. While much of the information on the LIEP tab deals with civil rights obligations, it also outlined the district's educational program, including the type or types of instructional model adopted and how the LEA will meet the various civil rights requirements regarding English learners. Beginning with the 23-24 school year, the LIEP will be a standalone document uploaded to the Title I application in GMS, much like the other required Title I plans. A template is available on the Office of English Language Proficiency's website. The LEA will complete the template, save it as a PDF file, and upload it in the Title I portion of the consolidated application. A separate webinar will provide a more in-depth overview of the new LIEP template. Applications. All districts that reported EL students in the previous year's October counts are required to complete the LIEP and upload it to the Title I application. This should align in broad terms with the Program Details tab of the Title III application. Districts receiving Title III funds or consortia receiving Title III funds are required to address all three of the following areas. They are program improvement, professional development, parent-family engagement. Since all districts receiving Title III funds are required to use some of their allocation on professional development, all districts with the Title III allocation will have to complete the professional development worksheet under the Program Detail tab. In closing, if you have any further questions about the Title III program or reporting requirements, please do not hesitate to contact the Department of Office of the Office of English Language Proficiency at oelp@sde.ok.gov. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.